People are like, oh, dating like a younger man. It's like men do this all the time.
Yeah. I know. And even just like a year younger. And I've always liked them young for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't say that when I'm doing this episode.
Welcome back to Right Answers Mostly, a podcast on what you didn't learn in history class but really wanted to. I'm Claire Donald.
And I'm Tess Palomo.
And we have a very special guest today, a OG Rammy, a friend of the pod, and a friend to both of us. We have Shannon Dee.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Shannon. Looking gorgeous as always.
Thanks.
Yes.
So are you guys.
Oh, please. I know.
Please, always.
Like, if you're watching on Spotify right now, the minute I picked Shannon up to drive her here today, I was like,
oh my God.
I know, we're like, why are we doing video anymore?
Yeah, exactly. But hey,
stop.
we're here. But Shannon actually, you've probably heard us talk about her before on the pod. She won our first Halloween contest, which like maybe we should do that.
I was gonna say, should we?
You should.
We should.
Yeah.
Okay,
We should like
guys.
announce it now, though.
Yeah, we should announce it now. Dress up as a Ram character for Halloween, and we will choose our favorite and send you a free T-shirt.
Yes.
You're hearing it here. But
I
she
was
dressed
Playboy Bunny.
so sexy.
And
Shannon.
my boyfriend was Hugh Hefner.
It was perfect. I was like, that's the ideal costume I would choose to put you in.
So good. We chose Shannon over my own flesh and blood, my niece.
Yeah,
So I
a
was like,
baby.
sorry.
Like
A
a literal
baby.
3-month-old baby.
But we've also been on Shannon's podcast before, AITA.
Yes.
Shannon, you want to talk about what your podcast is?
Yeah, so it's Am I the Asshole Podcast, shortened to AITA Pod. And I don't know if you guys have seen that subreddit, AITA. People write in with like, am I the asshole or were they, with like these juicy situations. And then we sort of dissect them and talk about it. It's just like hot goss, basically.
Which we
You know that we love that.
We love it.
It was so fun. Can we please come back on?
Yes.
Yeah, we
it
just
was-
love talking shit about strangers.
Yeah, of
It's so
course.
fun. And we like
That's
give
what
our
we do.
verdict, like who we thought. And so it's like kind of like a relation or like an advice podcast too, because we do have listener submissions. So sometimes like we can directly talk to the people that are in these
So fun.
scenarios.
Oof.
I know.
You're like a
Um,
therapist, really.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
truly.
am a therapist. Yeah. You're right.
That's what qualifies it.
Yeah.
It's official.
Exactly.
But we were guests on AITA, and so then we're like, well, of course we have to have Shannon on RAM.
Of course.
Yes, I've been an OG from the start.
You've
I've
been
listened
so
to every
supportive.
episode.
You're the best.
Big fan. I've been learning so much.
Hey, well, we
Truly
try.
have.
We do truly.
I don't
We
know
do.
if the information's correct, but
You know,
I've
that's-
been
it's-
learning.
It's always a game. We like to keep you on your toes, as we always say.
We do, and we like to give you homework. So, you
Yeah.
know, it's like take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
It's all in the name. But what are you talking about today, Shannon?
I know.
Today we are talking about Mary Kay Letourneau.
Jesus Christ.
I literally have no idea about this at all.
That's wow.
Well, except I know that she was with a younger man because we watched a Netflix trailer.
Oh, okay.
And-
Yeah. You hadn't heard of it at all,
No,
right?
before that, I literally have no idea about this.
Well, I guess you were only like 2 when this was
Yeah.
going down.
I remember vaguely seeing tabloids when I was like 6, maybe.
Yes.
Like when I think of childhood, like grocery stores, I think about like Princess Diana tabloids,
Mhm.
this, and John Bonet.
Yeah.
But I actually don't really know like the details of it. But I just know, it's a dark.
Yes.
a dark story.
It's a dark story.
I know. I was just talking to my mom, and she was like, "Oh God,
I know.
oh God."
I think people
So,
are going to be shook, and I think a lot of Gen Z who listens don't know about
probably.
this at
I've
all.
never heard of it either.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, because it was the
Spooky
first of its
season.
kind, really.
Really?
With like a woman being the predator.
Yes. Okay. So this is what I know is that there's a older woman who
Mhm.
was with someone as young as possibly 12.
12. Yeah.
That's disgusting.
But I think this is such an interesting subject to talk about on RAM
Yeah.
because we have so many episodes where we talk about men that are predatory to
Mhm.
women and Elvis dating a 14-year-old.
Yes.
Right. And how normalized
And
it
we kind of have,
was.
I think, a different reaction to it. And I think this really will challenge some ideas of how, I mean, it's not okay either way.
No.
But I think it's also just interesting to always look at it from the other side because we just don't hear about women doing this.
Well, I
Yep.
just feel like it is much more rare because, like, I mean, even older men, it's like, God, you're exhausting. So to like have to try to be with the younger one, I can't.
Oh,
imagine.
true.
I mean,
So to the
literally,
maturity level.
truly.
Can't imagine. but-
Yeah. So I think I'm excited just to like hear all about
Yes.
it.
Yes,
Yep.
Shannon.
All right, let's get into it. Well, first and foremost, we should put a trigger warning
Yes.
because, I'm going to be talking about rape of a minor.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go into like too much detail about it, but just blanket statement, trigger warning. I'll do little trigger warnings throughout too before I mention it. But yeah, if this is a sensitivity for you, this is probably one to skip.
Heavier episode for sure.
I mean, I feel like all of October is just like a trigger warning, though.
Literally.
Like, it's intense, spooky season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Enter with caution.
Yes, well, thank you for that.
Okay, so let's meet our perpetrator.
Let's go. Let's get into it.
Okay, so Mary Kay Letourneau was born Mary Catherine Schmitz. She was known as Mary Kay to her family. And then, so she went by Mary in her life, but like in the media, she was Mary Kay. And so I'll be probably referring to her as like both throughout, just so you know. But I guess like she went by Mary.
Okay. Yeah, when you first said Mary Kay, I literally thought, I was like, she's going to be talking about like the MLM makeup brand or whatever. That's what it's called. MLM, right? That's literally like the history of Mary Kay. Well, Mary Kay, it's like if you sold so many, you got like a pink Cadillac.
Right.
I mean, that could be a whole episode.
Yeah, truly.
There's some darkness in that.
MLMs
They're
are my favorite.
I don't know that much about it, so that's what I thought. But no, it's something much darker.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so she was born. I mean, you guys don't know her very well, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to do the guess her.
Oh, yes.
Guess her
Oh, let's
sign.
guess. Okay.
A Gemini.
Mm-mm.
A Scorpio?
No.
Last one.
Okay.
Aquarius.
Yes.
Oh, like, sorry, I screamed into the microphone.
Good job, Claire.
Aquarius is. I'm looking at you, Alice. They are a wild bunch.
I don't know much about them at all, but she was born January 30th. That's Aquarius, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
1962 in Tustin, California. Her mom, Mary E. Schmitz, was a former chemist, and then her father, John G. Schmitz, was a community college instructor and then a politician.
Oh.
So she was fourth out of 7 children, and they were raised in a very strict Catholic household, like very like traditional gender roles.
Yeah, there it is. That's 7 kids.
Yes, that explains
Good
the
God.
Catholicism of it all.
Exactly. So her father was the community college instructor, but then he got into politics and he ran as a Republican for a seat in the state legislature, right? Yeah, and held positions as a California state senator and then a U.S. congressman. Then after a primary defeat in 1972, he changed parties and ran for president of the United States.
Oh, my God.
In the American Party, which is the third party.
I've never even heard of the American Party.
Same. I'm like,
No,
what is
me
that?
neither. I
Wow, they're
know.
really
I think it's
struggling
just like
then.
a third party.
I mean, to
in
run for
some way.
president and a third party, it's like...
It's
Sweetheart,
like,
what's
you're
the
kind of
point?
delusional. I don't understand
You
it.
are delusional.
What are you trying to prove?
It's like
I
Kanye
mean,
vibes.
well,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, but he got pretty far in politics, though. If he
Yeah.
was like a congressman and stuff.
Yeah. And he, so that was the year Nixon won for anybody that was interested.
Okay.
So then a year later, though, in 1973, a tragedy happened in their family, and Mary's 3-year-old brother drowned in a swimming pool accident while, like, she was playing in the shallow end with
my
her other
God.
brother. I guess it was, like, her mother had taken him to go to the bathroom, and then she, like, kind of got distracted, and then he got out. He went to the bathroom,
my
like, back
God.
into the pool.
Oh, my
And
God.
the people, like, none of the adults noticed it for a really long time.
Holy
too.
shit.
And she was in the pool while that
So
that
she
was
Yeah.
happening?
she saw it
She was there.
all.
So lots of trauma going
Yeah.
on.
Okay,
in
well, that's
their
always good to
life.
know of like what's happening
Yes.
in
Little
the childhood.
backstory.
100%.
And then, like, basically a decade later, Mary's father intended to run for the U.S. Senate, but his political career was permanently damaged when it was revealed that he had fathered 2 children out of wedlock
God
during an
forbid.
affair with a mistress who was a former student of his at Santa Ana College.
Wow.
Wait, so he had an affair when he was married to her mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
With his
a
this was-
former
student.
student. So like a college age student, and fathered 2 children. So I guess like I actually am not sure. I probably should have looked this up, but like I guess if he fathered 2 children, it was like a secret for a little bit of a
Yeah.
time.
Got 2. It's like, my
Right.
God, 1. It's like,
Right.
that's a major...
So it came out.
Okay.
So then his career was,
Did they get divorced, him and his wife?
I don't know, but
I mean,
Actually,
maybe
I
not
don't
if it's
know.
like
Yeah,
heavy
maybe not.
Catholicism.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
let's
exactly.
continue on
That
and
sucks.
that's a good question.
Wow. Okay, so tough childhood we could say for Mary.
And just an intense
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little. So maybe we can give her a tiny bit of grace, but
I don't know. It's like therapy's a gorgeous thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Like,
all
so-
be self-aware
but
and work
also
on
back
ourselves.
in those days, I mean, you know,
What is it, the
she's-
70s?
Yeah, and she's like our parents' age, so even we have a hard time sending our
Oh,
parents
Yeah,
to therapy.
100%.
yeah, it is like I don't know.
They're like, we're proud of you.
yeah,
doing
Yes,
it.
they want us to do
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
but for some reason they can't wrap their head around
yeah,
it.
it is true.
It is very true.
Yeah,
Universal.
universal. So she ended up going to college at Arizona State University,
that's where you
which I'm not proud to say was my alma mater.
It's like a party school,
Forkum,
right?
yeah,
Forkum.
Forkum. That's our.
I got that.
That's
Oh.
our. This is like a
I just feel
trident
like-
or whatever.
I feel like you would
'Cause
have to like
it's a sun
pixelate
devil.
that. Like,
I know it's basically
looks
the
graphic.
shocker. Yeah, it's literally the shocker, but just like spread apart the two fingers.
I'm
yeah, they're like, oh
dying.
my god.
But because we're the sun devil, and so he has like a trident.
Okay.
So she's
so I
like,
think it's Forkum.
She's a party girl.
yeah.
I guess.
and your peer.
So. And my
Were you a
peer,
party
yeah.
girl, Shannon? At,
Yeah, I
in
would
college?
say. Yeah, yeah.
I do
yeah.
imagine that school is just like it's big Greek life,
We
right?
all were, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, actually, no, we didn't have a lot of Greek life.
Oh,
U of
really?
A, University of Arizona, was way more Greek life.
Oh, that's right.
Ours was like, actually, our frat row like got shut down the year after I got there, and it was just like you didn't need to be. You know how some schools like you need to
Yeah.
be in a sorority or
To
a
have
frat
the
to
social
like
life.
have a good time. It wasn't like that
Got
at
it.
all.
You guys were like, we're
But
having
it
a
was
good
still
time by
like,
ourselves.
yeah, exactly. You didn't need to pay to have a good time.
I respect
There
that.
was, like,
I do.
I respect
lots
that
of
too.
pool parties.
Oh.
So that's where she met Steve Letourneau. And they accidentally got pregnant, and she ended up marrying him due to the pressure from her very Catholic parents. So the pressure was on, but apparently, like, they just weren't really in love, though.
Oh, but like you should get married because that will fix
And
everything.
have this child, it will
No.
make you fall in love.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, at a very young age, too. So she wasn't in love with him. And then, like, her friends actually later claimed that she was, like, emotionally and physically abused by him and that she, like, had to go to the hospital. But there was, like, actually no police reports or hospital visits on record about that. So we're not exactly sure how true that was. And there was also, like, allegedly an affair as well. So that was kind of like their relationship. It was in between each child. It was always like talk of divorce.
Oh,
like they just were
God.
not in love, but the kids just like kept coming, and they ended up with 4 of them.
Oh my god.
Jesus, please, like, put birth control.
yeah, play a condom.
I know. Well,
Pull
they
and pray,
just
whatever you need to
didn't.
do.
Yeah.
Like Catholic people just did not use birth control.
know.
So their kids are Stephen Jr., Mary Claire, Nicholas, and Jacqueline, and there's 9 years between the oldest and the youngest.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
And oh yes, so Steve was born in 1984, so that would make her. She was born in 1962, so 22.
Damn.
Oh, okay, I see. I thought you were saying her husband.
No,
I
no,
was
no,
like,
no, no.
She
Stephen
started
Jr.
Young.
Stephen Jr.
Got it.
She just liked him young from
Yeah,
the
okay,
start.
Yeah.
sorry.
So they ended up moving to Seattle, Washington, where Mary finished her teaching degree at Seattle State, and then she started teaching 2nd grade at Shorewood Elementary School. Dun dun.
Dun dun. Okay. Here we go.
Oh,
Okay.
that makes me sick.
I know. It's
There's
really.
always already like a dun dun dun.
So in 1991, she first met Vili Falao
Wow.
when she was his 2nd grade teacher, and he was 8 at the time. He was born on June 26, 1983, of Samoan descent. He was one of 4 children. His father, Loeva, was still in prison, and he had been there since he was 2 because he assaulted his mother, Suna, in front of Vili. So this, like, you know, Vili always hated his father.
Yeah.
And also witnessing this, like his mother being assaulted, like kind of made him grow up faster and sort of want to be like the man of the house.
Like, want
So
to be
he
older.
he took on a lot more
Wow.
responsibility, and just, I think, according to some of these witnesses, that he just like appeared older than he was, like especially compared to his peers.
Yeah.
Right.
So, one little anecdote from when he was in 2nd grade was that he and his friends used to hide in her closet and like try and look up her skirt.
Like the teacher.
The
like
teacher, Mary.
Yeah, I mean that is something that kids do. It's just like creepy
because
for
she was
later
the hot.
on.
She was like the hot young teacher. Like
Yeah.
at this time, she was in her like late 20s. And
So these kids are horny as hell.
their kids are horny as hell. And in an interview, like where I heard this story, like Billy and Mary are together when they're older, like talking about this. And she's telling this story like so giddy, as if it was like a cute little story that had happened with your boyfriend before you like started dating, you know?
I can't.
That's disgusting.
It's so disturbing, you guys.
It's not okay.
If I was the interviewer, I'd be like, be for real right now.
I know.
Oh my God.
Literally. How can you even? Yeah. Okay. Woof.
Okay, so 5 years later, Mary Kay, who is now 34, was moved from being a second grade teacher to teaching sixth grade, where she once again had Billy as a student.
Oh my God.
And as I was saying earlier, according to Mary Kay, Billy looked very mature for his age.
Okay, I've seen photos of this kid, and
Yeah.
he does not look like a man.
Also,
No.
it's like, how mature can you really look when you're, what, like 12?
12. He's
You're not even
literally
like
12 at this
18. Being
point.
like, you kind of look like a man.
And
You're
even
12.
if the oldest you look is 18, that's still so young.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Mm-mm.
And she says that he had a deeper voice than his peers and like a slight mustache, aka like tiny little
Gross.
peach fuzz.
Which is
That's
the worst
it.
thing you can have as an adult. I'm sorry. I know
Okay.
it's a struggle. It's hard, but
Also, is this not the most disgusting, ugly age for everyone? Hence, like the
Seventh grade is
body
rough.
odor,
Body-
acne,
braces
Mhm.
and
Like,
the porn stash.
weird little boners.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
also like weirdly, did you ever notice? Like my mom always says this for some reason. Like little boys' nose will get bigger first.
It's just a
Oh.
hideous
and then they
age.
grow into
Because
it.
you're-
It's just like
Yeah, that's so true. It is a
it's
hideous
an ugly age. I mean, that was definitely one of my worst years for
Oh,
sure.
Oh, same.
And then by 8th grade, though, I actually like started looking a little cuter. I figured out how to do my hair.
Okay, that's good for you. Good for you. I'm like, I don't know when I got cute.
college was nice.
I think junior year of high school is actually when I finally was like cutish.
Sprouting
Yeah.
into your
Mhm.
own.
Yeah.
It was tough for a few years.
Yeah,
But hey,
it is.
Puberty can be very helpful or harmful, but I feel like,
True.
in that.
at least we didn't peak at like 12. You
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
It's always tough.
Well, also, Billy was also one of those kids that was just like way more experienced too. Like, did you guys have these kids and you're like, well, I remember when I was in junior high, like it was either you were straight up a prude, you never kissed
Mhm.
anyone, or you were like fucking or having
Yes.
like
Yes.
giving head and stuff.
I was like,
so like, what?
yes.
Because I was the prude.
Oh, I was too.
I never even kissed a guy until I got to high school.
Same.
I mean, I lied about that I kissed many men.
You're like, I use tongue. Everyone's like,
I was like, I went on a trip to California and I like came back and told this lie. And then these boys went and asked my best friends about it. And they were like, why are you lying?
Oh, no.
Oh,
It was so
God.
embarrassing.
God, that's terrible.
Why am I lying?
You're like, the boys are different in California.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Always
wouldn't
going on a trip
understand.
and you come back a woman.
Yeah, literally. You're like, I can't talk about what happened, but something happened.
So sweet. So, but he was on the other spectrum. He was like smoking cigarettes,
Wow.
drinking, and like, like getting oral at
At
this
12?
point. Yeah.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
So he was one of like, those
Smoking
more
cigarettes.
experienced children.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So he had an older cousin, and they would often make bets of like who they could hook up with. And then in 6th grade, he made a $20 bet that he could get Mary.
Stop.
Only $20? I'm like, up
Yeah.
the stake, like,
It's your teacher.
like
my
literally.
God.
Make it 100.
Wait, this is crazy.
But that is crazy.
Yeah. So then this was 7th grade that we're in current time. And they had he was, I guess, actively flirting with Mary during the school year. And they had a flirtation going.
I'm
and
sorry.
then-
He's 12.
He's 12.
Okay.
Confident
And Mary
kid.
is into it too.
What the fuck are we
She's
even
married with
talking
4
about?
kids, guys, remember?
She's an adult. If she was a single woman, I would still be like,
Yeah,
what are you
same thing,
doing?
same
Literally,
thing.
what are you doing?
What?
So apparently at the end of the year, I'm going to kind of play out this story that she tells on one of the documentaries I watched. So there was this one documentary called Mary Kay Letourneau Autobiography, and it was
God.
from her perspective.
Was it haunting?
And so, yeah, this was when she, because she's so giddy when she's
Ugh.
talking about it. So Billy says to Mary at the end of the school year, he says, I'm in love with someone. And on the doc, Mary goes, oh no, I'm thinking it can't be me. I feel like I've successfully ignored him. So then she asks him, do I know her? And he said, yep, you know her. And she said, is she with someone else? And she's telling it like this is like their meet cute, you know?
Because this is also what you literally like have this conversation in high school with the guy that you like.
Oh,
Yeah,
It's
totally.
just so fucking crazy that this is a grown woman.
And the way she's recounting it is like how you would literally recount
Like,
like
she has
how
no
we met our
shame.
boyfriends.
Like, yeah, there's no shame. Like, it's just so cute.
So she asked, is she with someone else? And he said, yeah, but it's not right for her. And then she said, does she know you're in love with her? And he says, I don't know. Does she?
Stop it. Also, like, where are they having this conversation? Like, in the
literally.
middle of class?
Well,
or
I think like in the like somewhere in school.
I wonder if any of the faculty were like,
Yeah, did
cut
anyone
it out.
like pick up on it yet? No.
Not
Because
yet,
it's
no.
like, why would you ever think this would be a thing?
Yes, it's like unimaginable.
Yep. So then in the documentary, as she's recounting it, she says, and then I looked him in the eyes for the first time, and she said, can you hold that for a long, 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 long time? Can you hold that? She said, I guess what I meant was, I kind of like you too, but it's not okay right now. And then she goes, I thought I said the right thing. I guess not.
Wait, what?
Oh my
I
God.
feel
Also,
so
like,
sick.
I feel sick. I really don't
Like,
feel well.
looking into his eyes, and he's like growing a unibrow, and it's like trying to
Little
like,
mustache.
his little mustache.
It's like
Also,
crooked teeth.
How can you like really fall in love with someone when they're your student? Like literally all the time you have is just like teaching. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I guess
mean-
they were like making eyes at each other
That
and
is
stuff.
And
sick.
one may argue it's not falling in love. It is truly trauma on both ends and
Ugh.
like mental illness.
Completely.
Yeah.
No, I think.
I mean,
for sure.
obviously, but like, yeah, you're just,
Just
like, wow.
Delusion. as well.
Delusion.
So this other documentary I watched, Till Death, was saying that even though Mary Kay was a 34-year-old married woman with children, that didn't stop Villy. Like blaming it on Villy.
Are you joking?
No,
Like
I
this
was like, are you
12-year-old?
fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, I think
He
we know the
was-
victim and
Yes.
The victim. I couldn't believe
course.
that when it said
That's
that.
Because also a
Wild.
12-year-old has so much power. Like he can't even.
He
Fucking
doesn't
drive.
know, and he really is like just acting with his dick at this point. Like
Yeah.
he wants
Of
to win this
course.
bet.
Yeah.
And like maybe he does have feelings for her, but like, yeah, what like a younger kid could have feelings for his teacher, but you don't let it happen.
No, but it's never like that is like the most innocent crush. Like every camp counselor
Of
I
course,
had, or like the guy camp
yeah.
counselors, was completely in love.
So she ends up taking Villy out to eat as a reward for his report card. And apparently, this is where they share their first kiss, like
Oh.
at the restaurant in public.
What? Also, like, so he doesn't have the best home life. Like, I just would think it would be so weird if my kid's teacher wanted to take them out to lunch.
Well,
Literally.
I'm getting to all of that
Okay,
really,
okay.
I'm like, who
really
pays?
soon of like the perception of the family and
Okay.
all that. So who pays? Probably the only one that has money.
Income.
Yeah, seriously.
Cash on them.
And I guess he said, what would you do if I leaned in for a kiss? And she said, only a coward would ask.
What?
So it's like she's not even like promoting consent either.
Every time he's just like,
Literally.
yeah, truly. And every time I'm picturing this, like he literally has like a Pokemon shirt on
my
and like one of those
God.
little watches and like tall
Little
socks
watches.
and
The
like,
little Oh my God. She's
Yeah.
ordering like mac and cheese and milk.
Yes.
Oh
it's
yeah, off
so
the kids
crazy.
menu.
She's ordering like wine.
Yes, it's
Is he
so
drinking- like,
sick.
Is
I
she
mean,
drinking?
probably
Taking
not at the
cigarettes.
restaurant.
Yeah, that's
but-
true. I'm like, what kind of
Takes
restaurant?
a smoke break. I'm picturing CPK now.
I also am too. I'm sorry I had to bring it there. Sorry to bring CPK into it, really.
I like it.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, sponsor us.
Well, actually, I remember in high school, this guy I was dating, like my first boyfriend, really, but we weren't dating yet. But we had like kissed and stuff at this point, but I remember us like laying on the side of this like hill, and he asked me like, can I kiss you? And I kind of said something similar where I was like, you don't have to ask, or like, you like, ugh, don't ask. Like it was like a turnoff or something. But like as I got older, it was more like that was such the respectful thing to do. And like the more I was learning about
Yes.
consent.
Yes.
And instead of like, I definitely should not have been shaming him for that.
But that's what we learned in movies.
But that's
Every
so
rom
toxic.
com
Mhm.
was the girl being like, don't be a little bitch about it. Just like, do it. You know?
No, but like Shannon, I've literally had that same thing and have thought like, ew, just like fucking kiss me. But you're like, no,
Yes.
what a great
Ugh,
thing.
I
Thank you
know.
so
So
much.
sweet.
And to men listening, continue to do that. And
Yes.
it's always appropriate.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like like,
A
I
lovely
probably
gesture.
shamed that out of him, and then it was like now then he doesn't ask for consent
Yeah,
anymore.
You're the problem.
I'm the
Shannon.
problem.
Yes, but that's how we always think of it, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I know.
Blame
Same
ourselves
thing.
always.
For everything.
Yeah,
for the
seriously.
patriarchy, for
Yeah.
harassment.
It's us.
It's us.
Yep, it's us. So in spring of 1996, the school year was drawing to a close. And at this point, like, she believed she was in love with him and she saw him as her boyfriend. Like, after this kiss, like, in their eyes, it, like, became official. And her father was diagnosed with cancer at this time, and she was really leaning on Billy for support.
She is so delusional. It's crazy.
Don't put that on a kid. A kid doesn't even know about, like, death and...
Yeah.
What year is this?
This is 1996.
Okay, so they're not like texting or anything either.
No.
So there's
So
literally
it's
like
just-
no.
They just see each other at school
At
and,
school,
like...
and then she starts like having him over for like she starts actually having like a bunch of kids over during the summer and like to work on the yearbook.
No. During the summer?
And during the summer,
What
yeah.
about a blanket?
Come-
Like, my God.
Also, like, come up with a better excuse.
Yeah.
So gross. So before the school year is over though, like Mary Kay like really started seeing a potential in Billy's artwork. He was a really good artist. And so he was very talented. And so she sort of like, this is kind of when like the grooming starts, like also with the family too, because Suna, who was 38, his mom, she was busy raising 4 kids. She was a single parent because the father was in jail.
Yeah.
And so when Mary like starts offering to help out with Billy, like she was more than happy to have it because it was free childcare, and then she was able to pick up extra shifts
That's
at
so
work.
terrible.
You should be able to trust your kids' teachers. Like, that should be so basic.
Literally.
Yeah. And also, like, Billy and his siblings were all gifted children. So, like, it wasn't really that big of a red flag to Suna that, like, Billy was getting extra attention from his teacher.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like not really any red flags are going up in her head. And so it's really common for predators, as I was saying, to, like, not only groom the child, but they groom the family members of the children. They sort of try to make themselves indispensable to the family.
That's like Elvis and Priscilla.
Yes,
Oh,
I know. I
yeah,
keep
that's
thinking about
right.
Yeah,
that.
because he was like funding their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's very
Yeah.
manipulative.
It is.
And she was like totally taking advantage of their vulnerability and their circumstances because she was not only just helping out Billy, but she was helping out the older brother and the older cousin. And like Suna was thrilled to have someone like lifting her children up because she was hoping like one day they could go to college, like get scholarships and stuff. So like, again, really preying on their circumstances.
It's such a betrayal.
And she also paid for Billy's art supplies out of her own pocket, and she arranged for a $200 scholarship for him to take art classes at the community college that she took with him.
What?
She claimed that she needed the continuing education credits to keep her teaching license.
Also, I'm like,
Oh my god.
she's a mom to 4 kids. Like, it's so
Mhm.
gross that she's spending her money on this kid that she's trying to groom.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are her
too.
kid like?
And she's like totally neglecting her children as
Yes.
well during this time.
I mean, literally.
and Steve's like also like an absentee like husband and father
Ugh.
as well
that's
too.
So sad.
So,
I hope that her children have sought therapy.
oh my god.
Like,
Oh my
I
God,
mean,
truly, they're the
Jesus.
ones I like feel almost like the worst for in
Yeah.
this entire situation. Obviously, Billy too.
Yeah.
Suna does say that she remembers saying at one point, like, I hope there's nothing going on with you and Mary, but she didn't think it was sexual, though. So I'm not exactly sure what she was alluding to, but
Right.
That's-
that was something she said, like, later after she kind of found
what
out
could that even
everything.
mean? I mean, she's a mother, she's a woman, she probably had a gut feeling that something was weird.
Yeah.
But then also, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I just trust women so much that it's like
Mhm.
women wouldn't do something like this, you
Right.
know? It's just like you never really hear about it. But to
Mhm.
say, like, I hope nothing's going on, like, yeah, what does that even mean?
I mean, maybe she did mean, like, feelings in a way, but not that it was
Of,
like they were having
codependency
sex.
or something.
I just feel like it's so just shocking because it's a 12-year-old that it's just, yeah, I can't
Yep.
get over it.
So the school year's out. She's no longer his teacher. And as I was saying before, she would invite kids over, work on the yearbook, and then the other kids would leave and Billy would stay behind. They would ride around in Mary's minivan, and she would let Billy drive. So she was like starting to like treat him like he was an adult. Like even from the start, she was treating him like he was an adult, like leaning on him emotionally, and then like having him drive.
Yeah, like why?
Oh, choose anyone else. It's so weird.
So weird, especially like if you're having issues in your own marriage. Like this is why like that whole like no divorce thing is just so toxic, because it's like get out of your marriage. Find a man that's your fucking age.
Literally.
Or be happy and single or whatever. Like, I know, like, it felt like she was, I guess, trying to, like, fulfill some need that she wasn't getting at home. But, like, there's so many other fucking ways to do this.
Yeah. 100%.
Terrible things happen when people think they are not allowed to get divorced.
Yeah, exactly.
So she had Billy over the house a lot under the guise that he could spend time with her oldest son, Steve Jr., who was a year younger than him.
Ugh.
I feel
Poor
sick.
Steve Jr.
Yeah. So he was over one night watching a movie with her kids, and once the kids go to bed, trigger warning, they had sex for the first time, aka she raped him.
Oh my God.
On their couch.
On
while
their
the kids were upstairs
What?
sleeping.
She's like almost like it's all so crazy. It's like she wants to get caught.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like just to date a 12-year-old is so disgusting and so like outrageous. It's not even like an 18-year-old. And then to have sex on the couch.
And like, yeah, kissing him in public and stuff. I'm like, in her mind, what did she really believe?
What did she think?
That's why it seems like she's so delusional.
She really is. So this continued on, their sexual relationship. And then on June 28th, 1996, 12 days before he had turned 13, a cop spotted Billy behind the wheel of the van. And he was driving erratically. And another trigger warning, it looked like he was receiving oral sex.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Oh, she is so sick.
Oh,
what is her problem?
My God.
I know, guys.
Oh my God.
That one like really gross.
Did he catch him?
Literally feel like I'm gonna throw up.
So did he pull him over and then she was in the...
So by the time he was pulled over, Mary Kay was in the driver's seat and Billy was in the back seat, like in a sleeping bag, pretending to be asleep.
What?
And so what she told the cop was that she was babysitting, and her and her husband got into a fight. So then she like took the car out for a drive and like to clear her head, which is like, you kind of think like she already had like a plan of like what
she's
would
thinking
happen.
back up for every scenario.
Also, like putting him in a sleeping bag is so weird. Like,
it is like, why are you sleeping
Yeah.
bag in a car?
I know, right?
maybe for just in case your car breaks
The
down
woman is
somewhere.
not smart.
No, I have no
Or like
idea.
that was the other plan. Like, okay, let's bring a sleeping bag and then we can just
Like hide you in
pretend.
it.
That's
Like
so weird. Also,
Yeah.
it's like so stupid. The cops saw him driving. Like you can't
Yes.
gaslight him and to be like, no, I was in the front seat the whole time.
Yeah, but I guess it's like they don't have proof, so it's sort of like I don't know. I don't know. And also reportedly, like she didn't have any pants on, just like a long t-shirt.
Oh my God, she's so gross. She's so gross. I don't even know like what to say.
I don't either.
So they took him down to the station and they provided false names when asked for identification. And
that's gonna work.
And Billy lied about his age, saying that he was 18. So they have Mary call Suna, but because Suna trusted Mary, she said it was fine and they were released. Suna also later said that she didn't know the details, that they gave a fake name and that they said he was 18. If that was the case, like she would have questioned it, but she didn't know about any of that.
But also, like, Suna, it's like, I guess, did she just say, hey, we got pulled over for like speeding or something? I'd be like, why are you guys at the police station?
Yeah, she didn't like inquire. Like, wouldn't it be like, yeah, we thought that he was, at the very least, you would say he was driving the car.
It's so
Right,
crazy.
and, like,
yeah, if I was a police officer, I'd be like, hand over the phone right now. I have
Yeah.
something to
Yeah, literally, like,
say.
why are they?
Yeah.
I'm like,
She was just like a master manipulator.
yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, so Mary Kay's husband, Steve, starts getting suspicious of the time that they're spending together. And he
good.
said that they would talk on the phone at like 2 or 3 in the morning.
If you're talking on the phone at all, like
To your student,
To your
literally
student.
that's
ever.
weird.
But like 2 or 3 in the morning, like, come on.
Yeah,
How do you
seriously.
not know?
It feels like everyone's like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, no, question things.
I was like, this was the 90s. It wasn't like the 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're like that, like, I don't know. Like, the 90s, you still knew, like, about statutory rape.
Yes.
I know.
And, like, yeah, that's crazy.
I guess just because
she's a woman.
it was a woman.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, like, if it was the other way around, it just, like, would never
It's
be
so
questioned.
true.
You
Yeah.
know?
And that's why it's like almost hard for me to wrap my mind around this, because I was literally just picturing if this was a man and like a little girl. Like, I do think that people would be so shocked to see them in public and be like, that's so not okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know, but, like, there is a trust with a woman, and,
Yeah.
like, women are motherly and, like, maternal
Yeah.
and protective and care, especially as a teacher. And then it's like,
Ugh.
that's why it's just so
Disgusting.
sick.
It
Yeah.
is.
So he didn't think that there was anything sexual going on. Again, like, I guess these people just like couldn't wrap their mind around it, like sort of how it's kind of hard for us to
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
So they're just like, well, obviously there's nothing like super weird going on, but he was worried about Billy's bad influence on his own children.
Steve Jr.
Yeah, he didn't like him hanging around because again, he was like smoking cigarettes.
Right.
He was just like, you know, a
Having
kid that
sex with
wasn't
your
from like the
wife.
best circumstances, and so, you know,
Yeah.
all of that. So Mary Kay would often refer to how like mature Billy was, and as we all know, like this is such a common trope, like that predators put on their victims. We see it a lot with men and young girls, like even like older men that say it about like women in their young 20s. Like, oh, well, she's just so mature for her age. Like, even though her frontal cortex like is not developed. But of course, women always are more mature anyway.
They are, but
But it doesn't mean
make
that they're like consciously making these
Yeah.
decisions or understand the gravity of the situation that they're put into.
Yeah.
And so,
And the power dynamic is always just so off.
Of course.
Yeah.
oh yeah. And apparently for female predators, they're often looking for a less threatening equivalent to an adult relationship, which I thought was kind of interesting with, you know, because men are scary.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's so interesting that it's like that's how bad it is that you would have to go result to being with a child. Like that's where your brain goes.
Yeah.
Oh, that is interesting. 'Cause I'm like, what is the, like, just to try to understand it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
And
And she's in a relationship where she probably feels like she has no control over it because she can't even like get a divorce.
right. And if it was true about like the emotional and physical abuse
Right.
and then getting cheated on, like you can understand her wanting something different. But again,
Right. But, like, then date a gay guy. That's what I did with my childhood trauma. I'm, like, really I'm like, oh, my God. That's why I dated gay men. Wow. I'm really
A
haven't.
consenting adult would be a
Yes.
better option.
Truly.
That is so funny.
and so she like at one point she says that like, well, Billy repeated kindergarten, so he was over his
Oh, my God.
age.
No. No.
Stop. And she's like, and then I had him in my classroom right after that too. It's like that's
can't.
crazy.
Like I will do that with Max because like Max is a year younger than me, but
Your
he was
boyfriend.
2 grades behind me. Yeah, my boyfriend Max.
Yeah.
He's 2 grades behind me. So like a lot of times like it'll be like, oh well, he graduated in 2010, I graduated 2008. And I'm like, okay, well he repeated kindergarten. You know, he's old for his age. But it's like it doesn't work when you're trying to justify statutory rape.
Right. It doesn't
Little
work on the other
child.
way. But isn't that funny that, like, women feel so, like, sometimes, like, insecure, even if your boyfriend is, like, a little bit, like, a year or two. Like, even, you know, people are like, oh, dating, like, a younger man. It's like, men do this all the time.
I know. And even just like a year younger. And I've always liked them young for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't say that when I'm doing this episode, but I mean like a couple years younger.
I'm young.
Okay. Oh, wait. So guys, listen to this quote in that autobiography documentary. She goes, he dominated me in the most masculine way any man, any leader could do.
A leader?
Yeah.
Man. He's literally a child.
And then there was like another interview too that was like
God.
she was getting him. She was like, well, who was the boss? Who was the boss? She was like trying to get him to say like he was in charge. She goes, no, but who was the boss? And Billy's like, I don't know. Like, no, who was the boss?
What does that mean? Who's the boss?
Like that
and
he
what?
was the one that was like in control.
Because
of
she
this
has
whole
to say that in her
situation.
mental illness
Yeah.
to not feel like a predator.
Yeah,
Like, she, like, has
she
to believe
believes
that.
she was pursued. Like
Oh my God.
She doesn't see it that way. So also, you know how everyone was always saying like he was so mature for his age, things like that. According to the American Psychological Association, they report that a lot of Black boys are often like seen in a different light than white boys are. They aren't seen as innocent. It says children in most societies are considered to be in a distinct group with characteristics such as innocence and the need for protection. Our research found that Black boys can be seen as responsible for their actions at an age when white boys still benefit from the assumption that children are essentially innocent.
Wow, that's such an interesting point.
Right.
And, you know, although Billy is not Black, I imagine the same can be said for like young boys of color as well. It's like they oftentimes are seen as much more mature.
Yeah.
And like, you know, a lot of times like they end up getting tried as adults in some cases.
Wow, that's so true. Yeah, they don't have the privilege of having that like childhood like naivete or innocence or like playfulness, which is heartbreaking.
It really is.
Yeah. And especially like in his situation where he sort of like kind of put himself in this role of like the man of the house and like wanted to grow up quicker.
Right.
And so, you know, that was something that he might have been putting on himself too. I don't know.
That's so sad.
So in July of 1996, her family was going to Alaska to visit Steve's family. And she buys a ticket for Billy without even telling Steve.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to blame Steve in the situation, but I'm like, what's going on,
if
sweetheart?
you see something, say something.
You need to stand up to your wife
crazy.
And be like, lines have been crossed, and I'm not okay with this.
And he comes.
That's crazy. I would have a breakdown. Like with this kind of stuff, I'm like, no new friends. Like, I don't want any randos. And then to have a 12-year-old.
Imagine if your boyfriend just was like, we need to bring this 12-year-old on a trip.
That
I'd be
is
like, we no longer.
Yeah.
We're no longer.
Yeah, we are no longer.
Yes.
And I guess it was under the guise of like that he was friends with Steve Jr. But it was like
Steve Jr.'s like, I didn't ask for this.
It like never mentions in any of my research that they even like had a friendship in any way.
They're like, we're taking on this kid who doesn't have like a good home life.
Yes,
And it's so sick.
Exactly. And that's what Steve like thought it was.
Yeah.
So they go to Alaska and like, guys, I can't even wrap my head around this, but in front of Steve's parents, she was holding hands with him.
What?
Like, how?
How?
I don't understand it.
Cupped hands or lace fingers?
I don't know.
Yeah, we
didn't
need a
get that
visual.
detail.
I feel like
the only time it's okay to do that is if it's like a toddler that you're like crossing the street.
Yeah, but a 12-year-old's got it handled.
Yeah.
I think they're okay.
I guess she was just like, yeah, maybe pretending in front of them that like, you know, he
like,
needed extra help. And so then at one point she borrows her father-in-law's truck to take Billy to go see the stars.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Just the two of them?
Just the two of them. So his parents start smelling what's cooking, okay?
Yeah.
We need someone sane in the story.
Finally.
Please.
No.
Someone's awoken.
But apparently Steve refused to believe it was anything but Mary Kay taking an underprivileged child under her wings.
Also, I would be like, has she ever done this with any other kid, like in her teaching career? You know, it's like, it's weird.
Yeah,
it would be
coming
one
out
thing.
of nowhere.
If she does it to everyone, and he's like, look, babe, you're just too kind. Like, you have too big of a heart. You need to, like, let it go.
But it's this one
targeted.
Kid. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Okay, so their affair, aka her just raping him, basically, continued into the new school year. Billy is now 13, and he's in 7th grade. She's not his teacher. Not that that fucking matters, but... And apparently other teachers heard them saying, I love you in the hallways.
And they didn't say anything?
No. And also, how are they, like, not in trouble after the fact?
Seriously.
Like, I would never admit to that if I was them later on.
No.
Do not turn a blind eye in the moment, but, like, after it's all out, I'd be like, oh,
yeah, I didn't say anything. I didn't say a single thing.
Yeah, don't know anything.
So then, ladies, the fall of 1996, Mary Kay discovers she is pregnant.
No.
I did know this.
No.
I did know this.
You're joking.
No.
You're joking.
Oh, I like always forget this part. I'm like sweating. I'm so repulsed.
This is crazy. This is crazy that this happened.
No. Yep. And she was overjoyed by the thought of it.
Does she know right away that it's his, do you think?
Yes, because she hasn't been sleeping with Steve.
Yeah. Okay, well, how are you going to explain this little ditty to him?
She begins weaving a story.
Oh, God.
So she first, tests the waters by telling her friends that she met someone new. Not mentioning it's a 13-year-old child.
Oh, my God.
But her friends actually were, happy for her because she knew that she and Steve really didn't have a good marriage, and that also he was having affairs too. So it's kind of
also, who are
do
her
your
friends?
thing, honey.
Yeah, no
I'm like, what kind of people was she hanging out with?
God, who knows? Actually, we meet one of her friends later, and she is
I'm
fucking
sure she's
character.
great.
So Mary Kay plans to tell Steve it was his, but as I was saying, they weren't having sex anymore. So she made sure to sleep with him shortly after she found out, so then she could say.
What is the boy's name again?
Steve Jr.? Oh, Billy.
Billy. Isn't he Samoan?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
hard to
cover that up.
You got to come up with something else there.
Yeah, say that you were having an affair with an adult Samoan man, maybe.
I guess she was just she had 9 months, so she was, I guess, trying to bide her time and figure it out. But she was so happy about it, and her and Billy were overjoyed about it that it was she barely even cared, to even she wasn't worried at all. In any of these scenarios.
Her delusion really scares me.
Same.
So, and she hid the pregnancy for a while with baggy clothes, and she continued sneaking around with Billy this entire time, who was also very excited about the baby, which he has no idea what he's talking about.
What is their plan?
Yeah.
When this baby comes.
But that's not his even responsibility. He's 13.
Yeah.
Right.
And how is he excited about this? It's
this kid has 5 more years of school.
He has no idea even the gravity of any of this situation.
And that's it. That's why he's excited about it. Yeah. He's just oh, cool. Look what I did.
A baby having a baby.
Yeah. 100%.
Truly.
Oh
and she announces to her students about this pregnancy, before she even tells her principal or anything like that, brings around the sonogram and is passing it around as if you're telling your girlfriends.
Also, that's so inappropriate to even do to your kids, even if it weren't with a child.
She might be one of the craziest people we've covered so far.
And also, it's
truly.
It's she sees herself as a peer with these young kids.
And that is a dangerous slope.
Yeah, and why would you want to? I don't ever
Her emotional maturity is just she's a middle schooler essentially is what it appears.
Yeah, she's stunted.
Yeah. So in January of 1997, the jig is up.
When the baby's born?
So no, not yet. Mary Kay would write Billy love notes, but because Billy didn't want to bring them home with him because his mom would probably find them, he would give them back to Mary, and then she would just leave them at an idiot around her house or hidden somewhere. But Steve is starting to get suspicious, so I'm sure he went looking or somehow came upon them and finds the love notes between her and her student.
Say it, forget it, write it, regret it.
Wow. It's she wants to be caught.
I
Exactly.
know.
It's crazy.
I mean, she really is just treating it like it's a regular affair.
Literally.
Where it's I've been in a relationship with a husband that's been at the very least neglectful of my emotions, and I'm feeling I have this right to be in another happy relationship with someone else, but it's
the math's
doing
not
it
mathing.
with this
It's not
12-year-old.
mathing.
No.
Paper shredders invented at this time. Don't leave this.
Well, I
this
think
out.
she wanted to keep
Right.
it was anything that you have with your boyfriend of the beginning of your relationship
Right, you keep,
and stuff.
So nasty.
Oh my God.
But Steve felt like he was between a rock and a hard place, and he felt like he couldn't go to the police because it would ruin his life and then also his children's too. So he felt what can I do?
A tough position.
But geez, because then you're my kids are going to be so fucked up when they find this out.
Oh, yeah.
And it will not be able to be reversed.
And it'll be so public. It's not going to be something.
all over the news.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen.
So instead, he decides to confront Billy, go to his house as if he's an adult and tell him, you need to stop seeing my wife or I'm going to show these love notes to your mom.
It's so sick. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
To your mom.
But
this poor kid.
I know.
And Billy, like, you know, was scared, like did not want this coming out at all, like specifically to his mom, like because he's a regular fucking kid who like your scariest fear is like your mom being mad at you. You know, like he's not thinking of like that it's a crime or that the police are coming,
right?
Like, but that doesn't stop Mary Kay from continuing it. Like she just kept going forward with it. Like Billy didn't have a say in it. Like he literally didn't have a say in the matter because he's a fucking victim.
Right.
So Steve like tells Mary, like, you know, you can be charged for like with a crime for this. Like, you know that, right? And Mary goes, no way, that's not possible. She claims like she thought that predator laws were just for men.
Sweetheart.
And like she like is dying on this like hill of like she genuinely did not know it was wrong.
Wild.
That's what she says. And the only thing that she says that like she understood that it was probably wrong like when he was her student, but then like I guess the like sexual affair of it all started like after he wasn't. So like in her mind it was like genuinely there was no problem.
Yeah, but like, why was it wrong when it was your student? Like, there's no difference. And if it's because it was a power play, well, you're still a teacher and an adult.
Yeah,
like it's all just there's no reasoning.
Wow,
it's pretty crazy. Like I'm curious. I mean, I know we keep saying like this was kind of the first of its like international news, but just like what the perspective of that time was. Like, how did people not realize that like wasn't there still a law that you had to be 18?
I'm sure.
There had to be, right?
I think that I know. I'd be interested of like when that started.
I know in some places it's 16 is consent.
It's state
which
to
is
state
wild.
is
Even 18, I'm still like.
Well, is it state to state or
I
it
think
is, right?
It's state to state because isn't it
in Texas? I think it's like 16.
Okay, so yes, she doesn't understand that. Steve sought advice in his mother, swearing her to secrecy, but then she went and told the whole family.
I mean, I would too. I think this is not like a little cute secret we're keeping.
Yeah,
this is like an illegal.
Yeah. Also because like remember when they went to Alaska and like the parents were probably like they're fucking, you know. And
yeah, they're looking at the stars right now in a truck.
So she's probably calling all the like I was right.
Yeah, a little bit of gloating.
Always. And she's like,
Healthy
I promise
gloating.
I won't tell anyone.
Yeah, just look.
Yeah.
It's me and Claire always.
Yeah, literally, except for like the 4 people I tell everything to.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
I know. My mom always says like whenever anyone tells her like don't tell anyone, she's like, well, you know I'm telling Bill, right?
Yeah,
my dad.
That's just it's so normal.
Yeah, it is.
So our hero, Linda Gardner, shout out. She's the wife of Steve's cousin, learns this news. And she, on February 25th, 1997, calls Child Protective Services.
Thank
Good.
God someone's standing up for this kid.
Seriously.
Someone protecting him.
That's so sad, like, as an adult to look back and be like, no one was looking out for me.
No.
And people were scared to go to child, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever reasons you might have to not do that is fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep. But the CPS person didn't believe her.
What's going on with everyone in this country
And
right now?
And she told them to complain to the school district about it.
No, but I'm going straight. It's literally your
To the
job.
source.
That
It's
is the
your
one.
job.
Yeah.
That's the final place you go.
Right. We're like cutting out the middleman here.
Why would I make that up? That's
Because again, like back in these days, apparently it was like so out of the question that a woman would do this. That like people literally were just like,
Wow, you really
staring at
believe
them
what
blankly.
you want to believe, huh?
Yeah.
To like protect yourself.
Yeah.
From the world.
Exactly.
So Linda goes ahead and she calls the administration, and the guy on the phone also didn't seem to even care.
How does that not even like
This is
cause a reaction?
This is crazy. It's
This
like
is infuriating.
unbelievable.
Yeah. Because also at this time, there really weren't many protocols for women predators.
But it's the same thing. Like, just because she's a woman doesn't mean it's like, oh, we got to take a different course of action. No.
It's statutory
Right.
rape.
Yeah, she's a predator.
No matter how you look at it.
Yeah, but you know, like a lot of people in our society like just have this belief system that like because you know, I don't know, men love sex so much that there's just no way that they would ever not want it.
Oh my
And like that
God.
they would just like and because you know in most like rape situations like men are penetrating women and it's like they're stronger,
Yes.
their penis is like literally
Right.
going inside of us, like forcing their way in, and
Right.
it's like because I guess like you can't, like the man has to be hard in order to get penetrated. It's like, oh, well, you were aroused. But it's like they don't understand that a woman can also be forcing themselves onto a man.
Right.
Well, and it's the power play too. It's the fact that it's the manipulation. Like it doesn't have to be so like black and white that physically you have to be this way. So that's the only way it can qualify, you know?
But in the 90s too, like the dialogue around rape was so much that it was like there was one way that people looked at it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so that kind of like.
And also just because you like get aroused in the situation doesn't mean that you can still say no.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Or that you even like it for what I imagine like a man's anatomy. Like it's just, I mean, literally anything will do it.
Just a breeze.
Yeah, the breeze.
Exactly.
You never know.
I found a 2017 Scientific American report, though, that says that 35% of male victims suffered at the hands of at least one female perp, and then 79% of male victims who said they were forced to penetrate reported a female perp. So it's not as uncommon as people are made to believe.
Wow.
That's so disappointing.
Yeah, truly.
So luckily, though, those calls did do something. Because on March 4th, 1997, they interview Billy. He admitted to being the father and told this detective about their first sexual encounter when he was 12, but he insisted it wasn't Mary that was forcing anything. Like he just truly believed that he was like just as guilty.
He's like, I was going after her when I had a crush on her. It's like that, like.
Well, and it's like he did have a crush, but he doesn't understand how
it should stop.
Yeah,
right.
Or
that
how inappropriate it is. Yeah,
exactly. Because I mean, they at this point in time, like they really do believe that they are in love. Yeah. So of course he's trying to do anything to protect her too. So a detective ends up pulling Mary out of her staff meeting, and the detective says, "I think you know what this is about." And Mary Kay says, "I think I have an idea." So in her interview at the police station, she claims that Steve was using the letters as blackmail to keep him from divorcing her. Keep her from divorcing him.
I mean, the whole
we're still not really seeing the issue here. Yeah. Like we're not on the same page.
Right. She's
not
like
the problem.
It's like she thinks she's just in trouble for like having an
affair?
extramarital affair.
Sweetheart. No.
Yeah. So then after a long series of questioning, though, she finally admits that the baby wasn't Steve's and that she wanted to be with Billy. She was charged with 2 counts of second-degree child rape, but she was released on bail that evening. And like apparently also like she just wasn't understanding the gravity of the situation at all either, because like during the questioning and stuff, she was like concerned about like being able to go to work the next day. Like, oh, the students, like I need to call work. Like she wasn't getting that like, no, like you're in serious trouble.
Wow. So unsettling to be the person questioning them.
No kidding. Where you're just like looking in someone's eyes, you're like, you don't even understand like what you're doing.
Yeah, you're like soulless.
The consequences.
Almost. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she reaches out to her father, who has experience in this realm of a sex.
Oh, yeah. He's like, I was almost president. He's like, let me help you.
She's like, you've done this before, Dad. You impregnated
a bunch of women.
Yeah, God.
And then in that documentary, that autobiography one, like she says, I didn't even know I needed an attorney. Get it?
What?
It's like she's just saying like straight up like I didn't even know like
she's like I just didn't think
like do you understand? I didn't know anything. Like she just really like.
Also, her dad impregnated. Was it a high school student?
College.
Or college. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, still terrible, but like at least I'm hoping their age was
legal.
Over 18.
Yeah.
So at first the news broke and it was like more of a local scandal, and then the media picks it up and it quickly becomes national news, and they're like everywhere. And you know, as I was saying before, it's like the very first like female teacher, male student scandal. There's obviously been the other way around, but this was like so whoa, because like she's a good-looking white woman. You know, those stories always get picked up more. And then, like, one of the documentaries was saying, like, Billy looked like Billy. So, like, it was more scandalous, I guess.
Because he's, like, a person of color? Or?
I guess so, yeah.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, of course, like many of men didn't take it seriously because they're saying like it's every little boy's dream.
Right. It's like a joke.
A fantasy.
And she's like the hot teacher, like the Mrs. Robinson from The Graduate. And like, I guess shock jocks would like have people call in with like the stories of their fantasies of their hottest teacher and stuff. Like it became a joke.
Like they're like high-fiving him on the street sort of thing.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, we need to help you.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, like, everyone seemed to have an opinion. Was this really rape, or was this just a young boy's school fantasy that came true?
Wow. God, this country really,
it's just
the narratives
so
that we
up.
put on these kind of things are really sick.
Yeah, it really
so
is.
sick.
And we still see it today.
Yeah, the fact that it's even a question.
And if the roles were reversed, like, this wouldn't be a question at
Wow.
all. So, Mary Kay like comes to the trial looking very angelic, like she's trying to look like very like grade school teacher in this like plaid little frumpy frock and like putting her hair back in like an up, kind of like a half up, half down do. And her one friend, Anne Bremner, who like hadn't met her yet, they became friends later, like saw her on TV and she said like, oh, there's no way she could have done it, like by how she looked.
Anne, why don't you just step out of this one?
And
literally.
Anne will be featured a few more times on this.
Oh my God.
This story. And then, so their first daughter, Audrey, was born May 29th, 1997, while she was awaiting sentencing.
Oh my God. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I forgot about the baby.
That she
Wait,
was
did you say
pregnant,
the first child?
Gave it away.
Oh my God. What the fuck? That's this whole episode. What?
I know.
Yep.
I know.
So the state is trying to get her 7.5 years, and her defense team initially was just trying to get her like therapy. And during one of the documentaries,
Let's start at the first step. Seriously.
and during one of the documentaries, she was saying like, "Oh well, like I'm going through a divorce with my husband. Like therapy would like really benefit me."
Oh, sweetheart, we have bigger problems than the
No,
divorce.
stop making about the divorce.
Yeah.
Stop making about your marital issues.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they ended up having to switch tactics, though, of like going to get her therapy over jail time, because she was obviously showing no remorse at all.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, they were going for just trying to get her the shortest sentence possible. So she ends up pleading guilty, and through a plea deal, she only receives 6 months in county jail. That's it.
That
And
is wild.
3 of which were suspended. So she only does 3. And then 3 years of sex offender treatment. So she was not allowed to see Billy at all. She, or any of her 5 children. She wasn't allowed to have contact with like any minors, period,
good. So
during this
obviously
this time.
She got fired.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Suna, the mom, actually came in support of Mary Kay and wanted it to just be a family issue. Like she wanted it to just work out, like have them work it out between the family. And it was like mostly for her granddaughter. Like she was coming in support for her, like mostly because like
her granddaughter
is her.
She's like, now I have to. This person has to be in my life.
The mother
Yeah,
of her
and she did have a
granddaughter.
lot of like a lot more understanding about the situation because it was like her granddaughter, the mother of her granddaughter. You know,
could she be with her own Audrey? Could she be with her own baby, or did they take the baby away from?
No, yeah, they took her away, and Suna becomes the primary caregiver.
Okay, well.
And then, so one of the lawyers was saying, like, even if Billy was a willing participant, the law says he's not in the position to make that decision. And that, like, if, like, the court might even believe that you and Billy are in love, but if we let you do it, then, like, everyone would do it.
Well, yeah. It's just actually not okay.
Right.
That's crazy.
Because she really thought, like, love conquered all, and the attorney was like, it
that
does
work
not
in a court.
Also, you don't love him. Like, sorry, he doesn't even know himself yet. You guys haven't. There's no way you can have a connection like that.
And it's also probably like so in the like, it's kind of gross to even say this, but just like the sneaking around in the honeymoon phases, like what you were saying, like they don't know each other. It's like a facade.
Yeah.
Like regardless, even if they were of the like consenting age, I just
like a
feel
sick
like
rush.
Yeah, like you don't really know each other, and like they really thought they were like Romeo and Juliet.
No.
So, let's see. Oh, the lawyer was also saying that like he asked her like, okay, what is your ideal situation then, like in the future? And she was like, she wants to divorce Steve. Her and Billy would marry, and then they would have like her 4 children and the new baby, and like raise them. When her 4 children, the one is a year younger than Billy.
That's so gross. That's so gross.
Oh my God. If I were
So
these kids,
she's
I'd
like
be
not even relating him that
he's-
like he's even the age of her child.
Right. She's like, he'll be a stepfather. And a
Yes.
father.
And Anne Bremner, our friend,
Anne, get out of it.
said
Get out of it.
I don't need you, Anne.
said that Mary said like nothing will keep us apart. I'm the Joan of Arc of forbidden love.
She's a sociopath.
Yeah, she is.
Sociopath.
And
Joan
like
of Arc of love.
Yeah, and like a narcissist. In
Like
a way,
literally, I'm like, stop
too.
like putting in everyone's. It's like she's really pissing me off.
Me too.
Yeah. So I guess during this stint, the 3 months she was there, Mary Kay was worried that Billy would move on with someone his age, and she became like obsessive and only focused on wanting to be with him. Like it was like a drug, and like only wanting to get out to be with him. Like she did have concern that like she wasn't allowed to see her own kids too, but it seemed like she was like way more concerned with like wanting to be with Billy, and like so she wasn't learning in any way in this that
No.
it was not okay. She had no idea about that.
And she wasn't like in treatment yet. For like
no, I guess they're like. I guess she was seeing. Yeah, she was seeing a therapist during this time.
God bless that therapist.
I know.
Seriously.
Can you imagine having to convince someone like you're an evil person doing
Yeah.
something wrong?
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm not.
No, we're just in love. So she grew more and more famous, though, while this was all going on. And Billy did an interview sharing his side of the story. And Mary would receive love letters and marriage proposals in jail. And she kind of like got this fan club, and she would have them come and visit her and like entertain them.
God,
you know,
she's like
We always see this with like Charles Manson. Like, so you guys need to cut it.
stop it.
out.
You are also part of the
sick.
problem.
Yes,
if
Yeah.
you are doing this.
And apparently then she would use like these groupies that would come and visit her to like send messages to Billy because they weren't allowed to talk.
These people need to get a hobby that is not this.
Yeah.
Get a
Ugh.
hobby.
So, you know, she was like interviewed a lot with social workers and state experts. Like apparently they testified saying that she showed no signs of being a pedophile. And she would receive letters of support from pedophiles, and she was like disgusted by it and was like, she didn't see herself as a pedophile, but as someone who fell in love with an adult who was temporarily in a child's body.
What?
Ugh.
Are you joking?
No.
She's like, I'm in love with his soul. Also, if it's like if pedophiles are supporting you, like maybe take a look around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Realize
she's-
who your fan base is.
Yeah. That's terrible.
We got another quote from Anne Bremner.
All right.
hear it.
Give it to us.
She said, if she was a pedophile, wouldn't she be on to her next 12-year-old?
What?
What does that
What
mean?
does that even mean?
Meaning basically like she's still so in love with Billy.
Oh, so they're
like,
trying to say it's love, it's not.
It's love. Like it's
That is not used in a
it's
court
like
of law.
specifically Billy that she's attracted to. It's not like all children.
Well, who's to say?
Who's to say?
That's crazy.
It's just
Well, Annie needs
so
to hit the
gross.
road.
Yeah, seriously.
She really does. We'll be
Find another girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
okay, so she ends up getting out after 3 months, and like almost immediately after, she goes out to eat with her attorney, and she asks her attorney if they can track her. Like, can the court track her?
He's like, please
and he
no.
says,
it's like, please don't do
"You're
this to me.
you're so
I'm so
high
tired."
profile. They probably are
Like,
tracking
right now.
you,
Yeah.
honey."
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he gets a call that that night she goes and sneaks around with Billy, February 3rd, 1998. 2 weeks after completing her sentence, she was found in a parking lot again with Billy in a car.
I mean, what did they think was going to happen?
Yeah, this woman has not learned anything. This woman
No.
hasn't.
So
Oh.
initially she said she was alone in the car, but then they found Billy in the back.
She's a terrible liar. He's just like right there. He's like, hey.
She is like a 12-year-old.
And like, once again, they provided false names when asked for ID. And then, trigger warning again, although it was reported that sexual intercourse had occurred in the car, Billy told a detective that he and Mary had kissed frequently and that he had touched her on the thigh, but no sexual intercourse had occurred. And there was also evidence that the two had met up several times since the release. Like, this wasn't even the first time that they'd met up. And this was 2 weeks after she gets out of jail.
Oh my God.
And, like, she didn't even have to register as a sex offender at this point. Literally, her only consequence was that she couldn't see Billy.
That's crazy.
Wild.
So, apparently, in the car, they found baby clothes, $6,000 in cash, and then Mary's passport. And her plan was for them to run away together.
My God.
And
but her poor kids.
Literally.
Yeah. And her, like, because she, in court, like, she showed a lot of, like, sympathy and, like, made, like, these grand speeches and stuff like that. But that, like, her whole act in court was simply that. It was just an act.
Yeah.
So she gets arrested again, and she's sentenced to 7.5 years in prison.
Yeah, I mean,
where she served her time at the Washington Corrections Center for Women.
So she did serve all full 7 years?
Yep,
Good.
she did. And then she gets pregnant again during those 2 weeks. Like,
no, during the 2 weeks?
Wait.
Yeah.
She is fertile as hell.
Oh, when they're... Wait,
when they were seeing
in the
each
car?
other.
Before,
in the
before
car
she got
or just, like, around
arrested.
that time.
She is fertile as hell.
My God.
So fertile. And it's like, again, hello, like, do you not
What do you
hear
think
of
is gonna
any fucking... I mean, I guess because they're Catholic, like, she just never knew about birth control.
Also, she
or
probably,
something.
like,
wanted
liked
to.
it.
it keeps her
Yeah.
connected to him.
Yes.
Oh my
Definitely.
God.
Like, her number one priority was, like, Billy. And again, like, she was excited about it, that she got pregnant again.
So what
But
happens
it's
to
like-
the baby then when she's in prison?
So she gives birth while she's serving her time in October 16th, 1998 to another little girl. And Suna
The mom
is
takes
the
it.
Poor
yeah,
Suna. She's
takes
like,
her again.
I can
So
barely...
now she has 6
Yeah.
kids that she has to take care of.
Oh,
because
my
Billy is still only like 15 at this point.
That's crazy.
or not even, like maybe 14.
He probably isn't even making his own lunch, you know?
No.
Like,
Yeah.
this woman...
Apparently, Billy wanted to raise his kids and felt like he didn't have a say or that anyone had his best interests at heart as a parent except Mary.
Well, you want to raise your own kids. Someone's still raising you.
Yeah.
God.
Yep. So Billy ends up dropping out of school, though. He starts drinking a lot, and he struggles with suicidal depression, alcoholism, and attempts suicide in March of 1999.
Oh, my God.
Because also he's still, like in love with Mary too. Like, he's not
I can't
moving
even
on. Like,
understand it.
his life is put on hold for these 7.5 years because he, like, truly is just waiting for
And
Mary.
he feels like everyone in the world is against him and not understanding, and he's
Mhm.
lonely in that.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
That is so
and like,
sad.
I'm sure he is helping, like, raise the kids to
Yeah.
a certain extent. In 2002 though, the Lau family, I butchered that, but sued the Highline School District and the city of Des Moines, Washington, which is a suburb of Seattle, for emotional suffering, lost wages, and the cost of rearing his 2 children, claiming the school and the Des Moines Police Department had failed to protect him from Mary. Following a 10-week trial, no damages were awarded.
I mean, let's talk to the school. Let's talk to CPS.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
all of these people.
Now listen to this crazy little plot twist.
Oh,
God.
You know Anne Bremner?
Oh, God.
No.
She was the attorney that represented the Des Moines Police Department.
What?
Yeah.
She is a successful woman saying all this crazy shit.
That then becomes like besties with Mary, who was defending the people that were against the Falau family.
Isn't that
Like,
like...
what? I read that and I was like, because I'd been watching this documentary of Anne Bremner and they don't explain who she is, and then I'm like on like Wikipedia
And
or
then they just
whatever,
throw that in
and I
there?
was like, Anne Bremner,
Like, Annie?
This whole time I was like, fucking Anne Bremner again.
What? Seriously. That's crazy.
Isn't
that's
that
wild.
insane? I was like, what the fuck? Because I was like, because she was explaining that she didn't become friends with her until after the trial, like after she got famous. And so I was like, was she one of these weird groupies or
Right.
something? But apparently, like,
She was working as an attorney.
against the family.
That's so weird. How none of these relationships make sense.
No.
Fucking wild. Okay, so let's get into her jail time. So they both claim at this time that it's forbidden love, like they are on this, they are not letting it go, and that she knew like when they would get out that they'd be together. In 1998, Mary Kay and Billy co-author a book, which is only published in France, called Only One Crime, Love.
Stop it. Who wrote this? Like, they wrote it, or
They wrote it together. And for some reason in France, like, it was seen differently than in America. Like, it was seen as, like, star-crossed lovers that she thought that they were.
No, guys.
Why in France? Why France?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe they have a different age of consent.
You got that one wrong. You got that one wrong.
So apparently, though, they then wanted to publish the book in the U.S. and she like fought tooth and nail for it to be released here. And she claims it was because her lawyers like made up stories, but there are speculations that it was really because she didn't like the way it was written, because Mary's version of the writing was written like it was like this like eloquent love story, but Billy wrote it like how a 14-year-old boy would. Like,
she's like, it was pretty cool though.
She was hot.
Like,
that's crazy.
Oh,
like sex scenes, like just kind of more like a perverted 14-year-old would write it, and she was like horrified and kind of like started realizing like, oh, maybe he is nothing other than just like
so it took you guys to write a romance novel together with a child to realize?
Like, he has really bad grammar. I'm starting.
Yeah, she's like, ew, his handwriting.
I'm like, that's crazy.
I know.
Oh my god.
So she's starting to realize now.
I mean, that's the extent of it, though. Like that's how much she realizes it, because we'll get to that. But in 1999, Steve officially divorces Mary.
Well, about time.
Yeah.
Damn time.
So, because of her notoriety, Mary Kay was unpopular with the other inmates, though.
Ooh.
She sassed guards and balked at work.
Balked.
Balked?
Balked.
Balked. And reportedly, as punishment, she spent 18 of her first 24 months in solitary confinement.
That's torture.
And in one instance, Mary Kay served 6 months in solitary when letters she tried to send to Billy were intercepted, because she was still pumping breast milk at this point for her youngest daughter, and she would hide notes underneath the labels of the bottles that she was sending back.
Oh my god.
Like passing notes in school.
It's crazy. She just like she thinks she can do whatever she wants.
Oh yeah. And when she's telling this story during that documentary, she's laughing like she thinks she's really clever for like the breast milk thing.
Psychotic.
Why don't you think about the fact that you're pumping breast milk, that you're in prison right now, and that you have a child, like
in solitary confinement, being like, I'm gonna like just try
write
this one
him
out.
poems.
Yeah.
But after all of this, like after she gets out of solitary, she actually becomes like very involved in the jail activities. She helped start the prison choir.
Okay.
Tutored fellow inmates, created audiobooks for blind readers.
No, thank you.
Rarely. I would not subject them to that.
No.
Literally.
And rarely missed mass.
I feel like I'd rather be in solitary confinement and have to listen to you. Anything you're doing.
Rarely missed mass. Yeah.
Rarely missed it. And then her father passes away while she's in prison. She wasn't allowed to go to the funeral. But then she fought for her children to be able to come and visit her. And so even her children that were up in Alaska, because Steve moved to Alaska. I don't think I mentioned that, but he took them up there because get them away from all of this.
No kidding.
Even they would come and visit her periodically.
That's so complicated.
Yeah, there's like pictures of them out there like as like teenagers visiting her. So then once Billy and Mary's daughters got a little bit older and it was closer to the end of her jail time, they went to visit her and they proposed for Billy in jail with like this traditional Hawaiian song.
Wait, who did this? Her kids?
The daughters, the two Billy's daughters.
Audrey and the other one.
They said they proposed
for Billy. They like
Billy.
proposed for Billy because he was never allowed to go visit her.
Oh, those poor girls.
Oh my god, those poor girls brainwashed.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your parents?
Yeah, you're just like,
parents,
this is normal.
Yeah.
This is how the
So when Mary Kay was released in 2004, Billy, who is now 21, asked the court to drop the no contact order, which they agreed upon because he was now over 18.
I can't believe he's still like pursuing her. Like I can't believe this whole
Did he date
time.
anyone else in those 7 years?
Not that they ever mentioned. No. Like he was like in a relationship with her.
This is like all he's ever known.
It's all he's ever known. Yeah.
That's so sad.
Mm-hmm. And so when she gets out, she has to register as a sex offender. And then she was in like a halfway house, and Billy then finds the house that she was staying at and proposed to her outside of the window with the same song, that same Hawaiian song that the children did.
Yeah.
Like one of those, what was that with the
Say Anything?
Say Anything, yeah.
No.
So in 2005, they marry at a winery in Washington. She was 43 and he was 22.
Who went to this wedding?
Great question.
Like just their kids?
All of them. Like it was a lot of, like Suna was there, the daughters, and her 4 children were there. And the way that people, like the way that the media and the population like discovered that they were pregnant is because they saw their registry somewhere that they were.
Oh my god!
They're asking people to give them fucking baby gifts.
That's crazy.
Like no.
So their wedding was a media frenzy, but Entertainment Tonight got exclusive access. So they weren't allowed to have any cameras or cell phones. They had like airport security like going into their wedding, because like Entertainment Tonight had exclusive access, so there couldn't be like any other footage or anything like that.
They're like, we're celebrities.
Her dress was made by a top Seattle wedding designer, and her children with Steve were there. And so they had to stay in Washington because of Mary Kay's parole. So they got a beach house in Des Moines, like right in the area that they all
and they had money from the
Steve's
book.
family grew up.
Oh, it's just like
how can they afford this? Is it from the book in France?
Yeah, and
all like the celebrity of it.
Yeah, and they would do interviews and just throughout this entire time afterwards, like anytime like money was getting thin or whatever, they would just they would go out and do like a bidding war with different media and like come up with like, you know, new updates of their life story, and like they very much wanted to control the narrative of it.
Of course.
And so like when they were living in this beach house for a long time, like as like a happy family, like the kids were even like from Alaska would come down, like their oldest daughter stayed with them, the 2 youngest would come and visit. Like it was like, remember what she said to the lawyer, that this is what she wanted her life to be. It was like kind of what ended up happening.
She got it. I can't believe she got it.
Yeah. And then good old Anne Bremner said that she was kind of like a mother to Billy, though, through those years, like a bit of a mother-son dynamic, because he was still becoming a man. I mean, he was like, when they got married, he was only 22.
That is so sick.
So, but surprisingly, though, like because she had to stay in the area, like the community didn't really shun her, though. Like they really like embraced her.
I wonder if people were like, well, he's of age now.
Right.
Yeah.
They're married at this
If you
point.
see them together, it's like not. They're not like, oh, it's a child. They're like, he's like a adult.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Ugh. She ended up working as a paralegal in the same courthouse where she was charged with rape. She had like her own company of like.
Oh my god,
that is crazy. She's like, oh well, haven't been here in a while. Like that is crazy.
Haven't been here in a while.
And that makes me think maybe that's where like her and this Anne Bremner character like became close. I know I'm so stuck on this Anne Bremner woman, but
she is the title of this episode.
Let's
talk about Anne Bremner.
Anne Bremner. And so what Billy was doing for work was he worked at a home improvement store, and then he also worked on becoming a DJ at night. And his DJ name was DJ Headline.
Oh, sweetheart.
And they would throw events at a club called Hot Teacher Night.
Stop it!
And people would come and pay a cover charge to come meet Mary Kay, and Billy would be DJing.
What is wrong with this world? What is wrong with it?
That is so sad. That's so sad for the daughters to be like.
I know. Well, apparently, though, like the daughters are very like well-adjusted, good students,
well,
like very involved. Like I don't know. That's what they were saying.
I wonder what their relationships are like, though.
You
know,
I'm
like
sure
dating.
Yeah, like think about like the cycle of like abuse and trauma, and like what you do, and then
exactly, and what you've seen, so what you think is normal.
Yeah. And I guess apparently though that they really liked that they had like a younger father that could kind of relate. I mean, he was like almost like he was only like a decade older than them basically.
That's crazy. That's like truly an older sibling.
Especially when you get older, like you know how when you get older, just the age gaps like start like imagine when they're like 60 and then 50, like 65 and 50.
That's normal.
Like those are like peers at that point.
It is.
It truly is.
It truly. But as Billy got older, he started seeing his childhood experience with new eyes. He didn't have the tools at the time to understand. Yes, he fell in love with her, but he didn't have a choice. She groomed him. So as he's getting older, like at this point he's in his 30s, and they start sleeping in separate rooms. Like there starts to become turmoil in their relationship. And then in 2017, he files for legal separation. And it was, I believe at one point they then got back together, but then in 2019 they finalized their divorce.
Wow, only 2019?
Yeah.
So
and their marriage lasted 14 years.
Wow.
So then he moves to California, but then in 2020 she gets diagnosed with colon cancer, and it like spreads really quickly. It spread to her liver, and she didn't have much time left. He returned back to Seattle to be her caregiver, and then she dies at the age of 58 in 2020.
She's dead?
Yeah, she died from the cancer. But I have like just some other little quotes and stuff, like some afterthoughts about the whole thing. She says in one of the documentaries, like, maybe I am just naive in that area of life, but what if it could have just stayed a kiss? I always thought about what if it could have. And it's like, how about,
or
what
not
do you
a
wonder
kiss?
if it just like never
or
happened,
no physical
period?
no
Yeah.
touching.
Yeah. What if I wasn't a freak?
Yeah. And then in that documentary, the autobiography one, she like reprimands the women that have done it after her. And she goes like, at least I can say that I did not know it was a law.
Shut up.
Stop it.
This is always what people do
Yes.
who like break their own laws or whatever. They're like, but it's different. Like if I were to know now.
And then to shame other women for like, oh, please.
Yeah, we don't need to hear from you.
Yeah. Then here we have one. People quoted an insider source who said they know what everyone thinks about their relationship and they don't really care.
Well,
they
clearly.
really never have.
We
The
get that.
wrong stuff that happened was so long ago. They are now two grown adults who are living their lives now. And Billy, like always, like in another interview, had always said, like at the end of the day, it was a true love story.
It's not though.
Yeah. And earlier in the marriage, Billy said that he was not a victim and was unashamed of the relationship. According to People in May 2020, an unnamed source close to Billy said that he sees things clearly now and realizes that this wasn't a healthy relationship from the start. Billy believes that he was robbed of his childhood. He should have been focused on growing up, but he was busy attending to the emotional and sexual desires of his teacher. And then when asked advice what he has for his younger self, he said, don't do it.
Ugh. It's so sad because he was robbed of his childhood. Also, like, it's one of those complicated things that it's like you don't want to see something that happened to you as being as bad as it was.
It's hard to say.
Having to like claim being a victim is so hard, and all like the gravity of that. So you're just like, well, it wasn't that bad because that's how you survive, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely. Yeah. And I mean, even like, I think he was on Dr. Oz after she had died, and like he still spoke about her. Like, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, like they were married for 14 years. Like they were husband and wife. It was a partnership. Like he still was like, you know, it's so hard to believe I'm never going to ever be able to talk to her again. And so it's so complicated because like, there was love there in some capacity, but it was like based on manipulation, really.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine he just has like a lot of really like fucked up feelings about it.
No kidding. Yeah, because he's like, she's family.
Yeah.
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 The mother of my children.
Oh my
and
God.
like in some way, I really feel like she played a mother role to him too. And
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that always happens with grooming.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
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 Jesus
so-
Christ. Well,
what do you guys think?
I can't believe I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, I did not know this much.
I didn't know
detail
this
about
much
it
either.
At all.
I knew like what a joke the media made out of it because of the gender,
Yeah.
you know, dynamics. And I think it's just says a lot about this country and how we discuss this kind of thing.
And it also still happens all the time too. Like I guess this was just the first of its kind, but I was researching and there's like hundreds of these kind of situations that have happened.
Just like don't.
Just don't.
It's so icky.
And if you think about it, seek help.
Yeah, seriously.
Do not normalize it. If anyone else kind of sees something if you see something going on, say something.
Yeah.
Don't turn a blind eye.
Truly
like,
protect
don't paint your
kids.
red flags green.
Exactly. might be the spookiest episode we've ever done.
I know, seriously, it's so
Sorry,
haunting.
No, don't
thanks
apologize.
for bringing it.
I mean, this is it was a popular case. It was people still talk about it today. When you talk about female predators, that's the name that,
Yeah.
everyone
And she
thinks
also
of.
was just like not even very like shameful about it
No,
either.
she was, like,
'cause
gloating
she
about
really
it.
did think she was the exception to the rule. And
Yeah.
again, she was shaming the other women that came after her just because she doesn't take any responsibility.
No, there definitely some like narcissistic tendencies for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Shannon.
Yes, thank you, Shannon, for
Thanks
coming
for
on.
having me.
We appreciate you always.
You did you were so well researched.
Yeah, you
Thank
really
very
did.
impressive, like with
We'll
the
put my
details
references
and
in the bio.
Yeah, we'll put
Yes.
the references
And
and
show
show
notes.
notes. Yeah, I'm so impressed that you did that. Thank
I
you
really
so
am
much,
as well.
Shannon.
Of
And where can
course.
people find you?
You can find me at Look at Me. I'm Shannon Dee on Instagram. A lot of
Cute.
people don't get that reference. Do you guys?
Is
What,
it
Sandra
Grease?
Dee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grease. Yeah,
Yeah.
so many people don't.
Really?
Don't get it. I'm like, I thought Grease was popular.
It's
but
very
Yeah.
popular.
Cute.
And then our podcast is AITA_pod. You can find it in my bio. But yeah, check us out. Check
Yes.
out the girls episode.
Oh, yes,
It
we
was,
had so
like,
much
back
fun.
in, I guess, July or maybe June at this point.
I
But
know,
yeah,
like,
if you
where did
scroll
this year
back.
go?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so fun.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
I love
Shannon. You did a
this.
great
Thanks
job.
for
We can't wait to have
having
you back
me.
on at some
Yes,
point.
and if
Yeah, we'll do
you're-
something a little lighter.
Yeah, that
Yes,
sounds
we'll
good.
do like a celebrity divorce or
Yeah,
something.
seriously. But while you're here, you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Right Answers Mostly. Subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and also buy tickets to our live show. We really should.
Oh,
put
yes.
that
Yes,
out.
everything is in our link tree in our bio.
Yep.
Upcoming events.
Yeah.
Follows.
November 11th.
November
Right?
11th,
11th.
Lyric Hyperion, 9:30.
Please come. Please come.
Yes, but we love you guys so much.
Yes.
And next week will be an episode that you all have been asking for
That's
quite
right.
some time.
So come on back. Okay, we love you guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.